I always say it's one thing to be the best in the world, and it's another thing to be the best for the world. I'll start at epi, and I think that medicine is that and does that.
She said to me, I was just sick of myself. She was sick of herself, and she wanted it to be about others. She didn't want it to be about her anymore.
Sometimes through hockey, whereas if the game didn't go well or things were not good in the season, I would come and shadow, and I'd go home and be like, it's not so bad. Somebody else had a way worse day than I did. I always leave the ER grateful.
Hayley Wickenheiser has always been steeled by uncommon resolve.
Wick was, I would say, like 10, 15 years ahead of us. We were here and Hayley was there because she was pushing the limits year after year. She never took a no for an answer. It doesn't matter what people are saying. She had an objective, and she's gonna get through anything to get there.
She's been described as tough and stubborn.
Most definitely. Yeah, no, tough definitely, and driven. Recognizing what had to be done, getting after it, getting it done.
Wickenheiser was a hockey prodigy. She made Canada's national team at 15 and played for the next 23 years, finishing as the all-time leader in goals, assists, and penalty minutes.
You played with heart, desire, finesse, speed, skill, and the only other person, the greatest player ever lived, I think he'd be happy if I said, you were the female Gordie Howe. Congratulations.
And now Hayley Wickenheiser on a breakaway. Wickenheiser shoots, she scores!
Her shot was the hammer of Thor, and her physicality jumped out in the women's game. But she was always looking beyond one challenge for the next. A career that would give her 4 Olympic gold medals and 7 world championships would lead, almost inevitably, to testing herself against men in a Finnish professional league.
I really didn't settle for anything less than playing my best.
Did you demand that of your teammates?
I did. You know, not everybody is gonna be as driven as you are, or is gonna want to win as badly as you do. I think there was a fine line that you had to walk. Sometimes I crossed it as a leader, and other times I didn't. But at the end of the day, I think my teammates would say that if they needed me for something, they knew that I had their back, and I was pretty loyal that way.
From all across our country.
That's the best way to know you've intubated.
Under at the very bottom, eh?
Okay, what's that?
No, okay, I got it.
Excellent. Excellent tool.
Wickenheiser didn't have what might be called a bedside manner, and yet here she is, in medical school. Even as a full-time player and a single mother, long before her hockey career ended, she spent time in Calgary's Foothills Hospital, shadowing emergency room doctor Mardell Gamble.
Was there a moment during the shadowing that you said, yes, this is me, this is what I want to do?
I think the first big trauma that came in, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I like this. This is action, this is pressure, this is intensity, this is teamwork, this is someone's life. I knew right away.
We're gonna bag, and at this point, of course, we would secure the tube.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna go ahead and you would listen just like normal, and just ensure.
You know, as an athlete, to be great, you really have to focus so much on yourself. It's like we often call it the disease of me, where you have to worry about how much you eat and sleep and think and train and feel. I think medicine just really brings me outside of that.
Hayley had been in the spotlight for so long, for decades, that she just wanted to focus on helping others and maybe take a step back from always being in the limelight.
For Wickhenheiser, the process of playing hockey and practicing emergency medicine are strikingly similar. The jobs both require quick thinking, adrenaline, and teamwork.
I had lived in the pressure cooker for such a long time, 23 years with the national team.
But isn't emergency medicine that kind of pressure? Isn't it life and death sometimes?
It is pressure, but nothing will ever compare to the pressure I felt as being an athlete. Emergency medicine is a different kind of pressure because you've got somebody's life in your hands. But when I played, I felt like at times it was the end of the world. And I think I have more maturity, more perspective in the way I see it in medicine is sometimes you can only do what you can do and you gotta let go.
On her first day as a full-fledged medical student, Wickhenheiser and the emergency room doctors were trying to revive a young man who had overdosed.
When they wheeled him in and it was my turn to start doing CPR, I took all the things that I knew through hockey and I put them into action in that moment, which was, you know, stay calm, you're one of 20 people in this room, do your job, you know what to do, and I talked myself through it. I had to kind of refocus myself to be able to do just a very simple thing, which was very overwhelming in that moment. I remember when you called it, I had my hands on his chest. I was I guess the last person to have my hands on him, and it was my first day, my first death as a med student, and he was around the same age as my son. I actually was thinking, your poor mom, like, who are you? Where did you come from? Why are you here? Like, what got you to this moment? And like all these things go through your head, and then they move on really fast because they have to, and that's how you cope and what you have to do in the ER. And I kind of remember just sort of standing there. I remember I put my hand on him, and I just I said, like, I don't know where you're going, but I hope it's a good place. I got emotional in the moment, and it was heavy. I'll never forget him. I will never forget him.
Wickhenheiser grew up dreaming of going to Harvard Medical School and playing for the Edmonton Oilers. Instead, she attends the University of Calgary Medical School and works for the Maple Leafs, where she is an assistant director of player development. Canada's Renaissance woman also serves on the IOC's Athletes Commission. And almost a decade ago, she founded WickFest, a festival of girls and women's hockey.
Join the party!
By bylaw, the Hockey Hall of Fame couldn't waive the 3-year waiting period for Wickhenheiser, despite public sentiment that she should have been fast-tracked. Actually, Wickhenheiser had to wait just a little longer for the call from the hall. When it came last June, she couldn't answer. She was in class. No worries. Now the doctor is in.
The Hall of Fame has always been something that's like out there. I think it's something that enters your consciousness when you're done and other people start talking about the Hall of Fame.
But haven't you been composing the speech in your head since you were 25?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Really? Because you were Hayley Wickenheiser. You were the best player in the world. Didn't something tell you then that one day you'd be in the Hall of Fame?
No, I didn't think about it at all, to be honest. I practiced signing my autograph a million times. I thought about the Olympic gold medals. I thought about world championships and all those things, but I really didn't think about the Hall of Fame. I think when it hit me was the day that I got the call and I saw the reaction from everyone else around me that, you know, this is where greatness lives. You're in a very select company and it is a big deal in the hockey world.